good day. Get some pointed work done, continuing to work in some situational football things that we need to tune up, but also just really excited about getting an extended look at some guys that have missed time for a variety of injuries and so forth. We got a significant number of guys that are working in various forms or levels of work, and our goal is to keep that moving forward in an effort to get those guys to the stadium this week. And so it's a big week for guys like Dotson and Avery and others, and if you saw them getting additional reps, they need the exposure. We need the exposure to them, and equally as important, they need the readiness as we step into a stadium this weekend. Few minor injury things. Arthur Millette appears to have a minor hamstring of some kind that could be described as day-to-day. Master Teague had a low ankle. I think it could be described as day-to-day at this juncture, but obviously we'll have more information as we move forward. Questions?
Was Benny Snell one of those guys, too, that you wanted to get some more looks at?
No, he wasn't. Benny's been out here largely. We know Benny. He wouldn't fall into that category, no.
Mike, what's the significance of having Hayward and Minka be so involved a couple weeks into camp, be that competitiveness? How does that rub off, you think, on your game?
We expect that from those guys. You can't lead from the back. And those guys are leaders for us, and their presence is always felt.
A couple of us were speaking with Coach Austin earlier today about Minka and his ability to create turnovers and maybe getting back to more of those this year. Is there any way for you guys to free him up to do more of that? Is there anything more he can do?
Believe me, there is nothing wrong with Minka or his turnover ability or tally. Sometimes is circumstantial. You know, we didn't stop the run well enough a year ago. So if you're looking for something to blame in regards to that or a storyline relative to that, Minka's a great football player. There was no lack of production in that area from him.
Coach, speaking of Minka, he had several one-on-ones with George. How did George fare against an all-pro caliber safety?
Ask George, you know what I mean? The exposure was not for Minka. It was for George.
Is that something you guys built into practice, or they asked you?
It was thoughtful by us.
Have you been able to talk to Anthony or Carl since everything became official?
I have not. Yeah.
Mike, you talked early about being here and the kind of camaraderie and the off-the-field development you get from this place. Can you feel or measure that now, or is it kind of a wait-and-see how it went thing?
I don't know that you can ever measure it, but I think any of us that's been involved in team sports at any level appreciates it, that which we cannot measure, that component that comprises team, camaraderie, togetherness, selflessness, and things of that nature. All of us have been on teams most of our lives. We got a respect and appreciation for it, and we thoughtfully pour into it.
What are your thoughts on how the 2-minute unfolded at the end?
I look at the tape. Obviously, it's always ebb and flow. Defense appears to be warming up to the drill. Offense was dominating the drill at the early portions of camp. But as you guys know, it's football-like, not necessarily football. There's components of the drill that we control from an administrative standpoint to get looks at certain things, and that's just the reality of practice.
Anyone else?
Great. Thanks, guys.